Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. It's so easy to see through these guys' cheap propaganda. And not only cheap propaganda, but cheap reasoning. They don't even have to be so sophisticated in lying or omitting the truth, or simply just pointing in a certain direction, because the level of these guys is so low they will not catch it. I have here an article from Business Insider that shows inconsistency, and I will explain what I mean by that. Regarding Putin, supposedly Putin, who is a madman, that means is an irrational person. A madman, a crazy man, is an irrational person, who doesn't have logic, sometimes has, sometimes doesn't, or he's not mad. Is he or is not? Is this situational madness or is continuous madness? They didn't tell us, but anyway, it's how it fits their narrative. If here fits that Putin is very reasonable or rational, they want to use that. If here they want to portray to fit the narrative that Putin is an idiot, they will use that. And remember, it was a guy in 1920s, 1930s, early 1940s that he was the most evil person in the world ever, okay? And he didn't have anything other than evilness, okay? But hey, when things need to be explained in a certain way, they tell us, actually, he was good at this, but he used that in his evilness. So, like for instance, he's evil and dumb, but on the other hand, he got that by luck. He used that oratoric abilities in the evil way, but he was good at, fooling people, but he used it over there, always in the negative. So let's go to this guy, to the second Adolf here. Business Insider. Putin wants the world to think the wars in Gaza and Ukraine are a Western plot, and it's working. So, Putin and the Russians, who they're not good at anything. They can't have a good military, they can't produce good satellites, they can't produce anything. No airplanes, no bombs, nothing. Everything is like halfway done. The Russians, all of a sudden, they are better of promoting a lie than is the West, with the free media, with the educated West. So it's either the educated West is so dumb that falls for Putin, or Putin is so smart and his media is so that is able to destroy New York Times, CNN, Fox News, and all these way more wealthy or rich companies that Putin will ever had, with Sputnik and Russia Today, that are banned in many places in the free world with free media. Now, if you think that that's the situation, it's accurate, that's fine. I don't think so. The problem is this: they have other people who have a memory, and they see what happened in time. So when Putin comes and says something, you put whatever he says or what Russians say based on what is your worldview already created. You created a worldview, a lens through which you see the world based on the past. And it was not done by Putin 15 years ago. It was done by other people's actions. So when you see those actions in the Middle East, in Ukraine, NATO expansion, all right, the no two-state solution in the Middle East. Who was in charge? United States of America. In both sides. Now they tell me that Putin is just so strong to destroy our reality. The reality is NATO pushed towards Russia. Do you have the right? Of course you have. You have many rights. You can have the right to do many things, but if you do that, you're gonna threaten someone by your behavior. So you have to be a little bit more diplomatic. You have free speech. But go to work and say, that group is imbecile. Or let's go and say, well, Israel might have a little bit of a problem over there because, the problem in Middle East did not start on October 7th when those guys, Hamas, the evil Hamas, attacked and committed crimes in Israel. I dare you, go and say that at work. You will not say that. Why? And you have free speech. You have to be diplomatic. You know when you're going to be smacked over your beak or not. So the same here. The same here, my friends. There's certain things that, they're over there. And when Putin comes with a, you know what, is those guys over there, we have the right to push NATO towards Russia. You have the right. You have the right of free speech at work as well. But you keep your mouth shut. I guarantee you that. Most of us, all right, most of us. But there are some who have the luxury to say whatever they think. And those usually are the owners of certain companies that they know they cannot be hurt by the gatekeepers of the truth. So here, it's a fact. Those guys push it towards Russia. Russia told them back off. They didn't. Russia's fault? Is Russia's fault? Again, in the Middle East, who was in charge in the past, at least past 31 years after Soviet Union collapsed? United States. What happened over there? They managed to destroy how many countries? Three? Considering Afghanistan in the Middle East, okay? Let's be a little bit flexible. And the word is tolerant. I'm being tolerant, okay? So I'm including that. And besides, you had Libya as well. All those things were just imagination, or we had to do it because those guys were bad people. But if those guys were bad people, they did it in their country, didn't they? Iraq did it in its country. Afghanistan, its country. If you want to take Yugoslavia, its country. Libya, its country. Syria, its country. Nothing says here United States of America. Nothing. So why did United States of America and some weasel NATO countries bombarded and attacked these guys? Who gave them the right to do that, as Putin said? Who gave NATO the right to kill Gaddafi? That's what he asked. Huh? Well, they self-ascribe themselves. They just put themselves as being the what? The judge, the prosecutor, and the enforcer. Why? Because we're good, you're bad. I mean, that's a tyrannical way of a worldview. So when these guys tell me that Putin all of a sudden is able in 2 years to change our brains through his propaganda, which is so great and fantastic, so efficient, that destroys all these guys who owned half of the world media. Just look around and take this big, let's say 4 or 5 conglomerates. I don't even put 4, 3, and see how much media they own in the world, in other countries. In Romania, you have, this is Pro TV. Go and see who owns Pro TV. Or I don't know, DG whatever, 24, whatever it is, or I can DG something. Go and see. Antenna 1. Go and see who owns that. It's an affiliate of something else. Do you think they're going to say something else than the boss? Are you kidding me? And they tell me that the Russia Today and Sputnik can compete with them? Obviously they did. Why? Because some people wanted to know more or the other side of the story. That's why I have you here. Why do you think I have you here? Is it because I'm a genius? No, because I'm saying things that the mass media and these guys, the mainstream media and those weasels, don't say it. That's why. And when I said, oh my God, Emil, where did you get that from? Well, reading, experience, direct experience, past, memory, patterns. How do you think? That's how we got the information. And you see things that Putin comes over and tells me, it's the West problem, West's plot in Gaza and in Ukraine. Well, if you were born yesterday, but we're not like that. We know shit, okay? And these guys think that we don't, but we do, because their title, look at the title. The title is already made like it's working. It's a given that Putin wants. He is the boss right there. Look at that little guy, right? Putin sought to blame Western meddling for an anti-Semitic riot at the Dagestan airport. I don't know if that's so. Do you have any evidence contrary to that? You can say, well, I saw what I saw. Well, we saw many things. We saw, JFK being assassinated. Was it, Oswald? They said it was Oswald. And we believed them. They had what? The Warren report or whatever they had. The native investigation. Really? And they told us Did you verify? No. They told you and I. And we said, I believe it, or I said, I don't believe it. The same here. They said, well, we have the information, those. You believe it or you don't believe it. But bring counter evidence. They brought the evidence. Now, could that be a lie? Could be. The evidence, here you have it. The Russian president has long blamed global unrest on Western plots. Well, let me tell you this. Look on global problems, wherever you have a war, and you're going to find United States everywhere. And potential war in Taiwan, North Korea, in the Balkans, Iran, Ukraine, you find the same common denominator, USA. So, is it a plot? Is it Putin dreaming? Or you tell me we had to because we are the forces of good. Regardless if you are forces of good, your little trail of menstruation is over there. All right? We can find and smell it everywhere. So however you want to say, I'm the good guy. Yeah, you might be the good guy, which you're not. Look at Vietnam, for instance, how great you are. Look at Libya. Look at Yugoslavia. That's how did you invade? I'm talking about with Al Capone. You invaded Iraq. You're the good guy. You dropped 2 atomic bombs on 2 civilian cities in the Second World War. You're the good guy. And I can go on and on and on. And I'm not saying these guys are only bad. I'm just pointing out that these guys tell you, when they want to tell you United States is good, they're going to tell you it's good. When it works in their interest to portray United States as a racist country or systemic this and systemic that, they will say United States is bad. Now, which one is it? Both, or, a little bit of both. I don't think the United States is a country with systemic racism. I don't believe that. I know it's not so. Because you can show me a law being racist or an institution that promotes that. You can show me persons, and yes, I agree with that. There are people like that. And anyway, not going to get into that one. I got anyway too deep in this one. It's part of a bid to portray himself as the champion of the new global order. Yes. That's why a lot of countries are joining him and not Al Capone. Al Capone is losing people, slaves on the plantation. It's not gaining, but Russia and China are gaining. So what does it mean? It's working, right? But why is it working? Because they're dumb? No, because history and past events that they paid attention told them, hey, Pax Americana is we do what you say, otherwise we get bombed. All right, or regime change, threaten, blackmail. That's how it worked in the past 30 years, 31 years. So what do you want them to do? Alternative. There's no alternative. And right now, the alternative is Putin. What are you going to do? You know what I mean? You can be, you say, I'm going to be independent. You can be independent, I think, on 2 conditions. One, if you don't have natural resources, so they don't have any economic interest in you. So you're like Sahara Desert, okay? And the second one is if you don't have any geopolitical, military, strategic position. If you don't have that one, you will not exist for Al Capone. You will be like flying below the radar. They're gonna be like, he's not gonna see you ever. How many countries on this planet are doing a lot of garbage internally? Nobody cares, nobody intervenes, nobody says anything about anything. Why? No interest, no economic, no financial interest, no military interest. We don't care. These are the 2 reasons, remember. The location and economic profit. That's it, military and economic profit. Once you have those and I can get them, I will try to, I'm going to work with you. I'm going to give you $5, but you do whatever I tell you. Like the European Union does to the idiots inside the European Union. I'm going to give you some money that we borrow. I'm going to give you some money, or from wherever I got the stash, but you got to implement this, you got to implement that, you got to implement that. It's like a in-law. You get married, okay, with your wife or with your husband, then it comes their parents to lend you some money. After they lend you some money to have a pay down for a house, they come and they rule your house. They tell you what to do because they gave you the money. Fuck off. I'm married to her, not to him or to her over there. Bye-bye. All right, my friends, here it is. Yes, unfortunately, The mass media, the mainstream so-called mass media, the corporate media, they lost control of the information. Why? Because of me and because of others, because of the internet. I'm not saying because of me, because I'm a tough guy, or oh, my God, I have such an impact. No, I'm not talking about that. But I can tell you, I can show you certain things, how to reason, how to look at them. They will just demask or unmask this garbage. Otherwise, we'd have what? CNN, MSNBC, Fox News, and two more other garbages, and that would be the media. And they will tell you whatever they want to tell you, and that's it. And you know how accurate those guys are, and their agenda, and who owns them. But they lost it with the internet. But they work on it. They work in closing the doors because of what they call misinformation, disinformation. But when they get engaged in that one, nothing happened to them. Nothing. But to us, they close our channels. They close this, they close that. So you can't talk anymore. Like, you have to be crystal clear, like they are. Garbage. They got billions of dollars, my friends. And we have our balls. That's what we got. And our brains. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.